No, I'm not the son of God. I'm not Lucifer. I'm not a demon. I'm not the devil.
You don't want to do it? It's no good. I can't believe it. All these years, finally get away from this shit. So good luck with your life, man. And don't be calling my house and shit talking about this and that and that, because I see you coming to sabotage shit. You're a sellout. I'm telling you that. And I hope I never have to see your ass again.
Oh, we're at the famous secret studio of the brains, you know. My friends ask me if I'd be into exotic dancing or filmmaking. Well, I'm a little shy about that. But I love all people. I think the time has come for black and white to truly unite.
Hold on. Okay, let's try it again.
If I'm an expert at anything, it's lining up those songs. For many concerts, many years, I've done that, many records, and just had an idea about it. I know how them shit should drop, man. You should drop that shit like this, brass. Right now, it's a little sporadic, you know?
What we getting ready to do is build a new empire, baby. We're gonna take those sweet young children, teach them a better way, starting right now.
I'm standing in front of the White House, where every president since George Washington has lived and worked.
One nation under a roof, getting down this walk above it. One nation and we're on the move. Can't stop us now.
I played the bass originally in a band called Stress that we used to do folk covers, basically. Earth, Wind, Fire, Father Funkadelic.
Me and Gary went to junior high school together, and I introduced Gary to my brother.
I remember meeting Gary at a concert. He asked me, could he play my guitar? And I said, well, sure. And he starts playing all these cool jazz riffs and classical rhythm and blues lines.
You know, Ace said, yo, man, I want to play music with you. I want to be in a band with you. Kind of wanted more of a challenge. So I said, oh, let me pick up the guitar. H started playing the bass. We used to sit down and practice and practice. HR and I would sit down there, fingers be bleeding.
But now Daryl was younger than all of us.
I was in this band called the Young Explorers. We used to play covers of like Earth, Wind, and Fire and all that kind of stuff.
We then assured Daryl that he wasn't breaking the law, it wasn't illegal to be a musician.
And Daryl started playing bass. HR started to sing.
Try to play like what we were listening to, you know, Turn to Forever, all this jazz fusion stuff.
Chick Corea and Stanley Clark, George Duke, and all those cats.
I actually wrote Stanley Clark letters and shit, like fan club shit.
My biggest influence was Lenny White. I seen him live before, and he just tripped me out, man. It looked like it was a motion picture in action.
I saw a PBS special and they were highlighting the new wave out of London. I think the first band I saw was the Sex Pistols and the Damned. That was the shit. That was the new thing for me. I went and bought all the albums and I took it to Daryl with the same enthusiasm, man. You gotta hear this stuff, man. It's, you know, it's gonna drive you crazy, man, but you're gonna love it.
Sid hipped us to this band called the Dead Boys. Dead Boys, I was like, yeah, man, that's what we want to try to start doing, you know?
We were called Mind Power. And then I found this Ramones song. Bad Brains was like Mind Power was the same thing. But Bad Brains reminded me of like your brain being up in the refrigerator, like rotting and some shit. So to switch over from punk, Mind Power, and Bad Brain to go, that's what I thought was cool.
It was the summer of 1979. Word was that there was an all-black punk rock band in Washington, D.C. Never seen one of those before. And they're local? Well, we gotta check that out. We were walking down to the bayou to see the Damned. And here comes this opening band, the Bad Brains. We all went up to the front and had our minds completely blown. We walked out of there going, damn, great, but the Bad Brains.
DC had a quote-unquote punk rock scene. That was a very, very small group of people, but they congregated around this one club in Adams, Oregon, section of DC called Madam's Oregon.
At Madam's Oregon, I remember standing in front of the Bad Brains one night with HR so close I could smell his breath. And I said, I sure hope that guy doesn't land on me. Wham! I'm on my back with HR pinning me to the ground, singing on me. I was like, ah! Whoa! And that was kind of the start of my life.
Oh, we go by R Street, hold up. This is where I used to live when the Bad Brains started. Right there. That's where the Bad Brains started, really.
This is R Street. What day was R Street? Where punk rock started.
We was gonna play faster and more technical than the Ramones and be more chaotic than the Damned.
We're up Addison Road, you see the Notorious, Al Tolson, and this is where the rehearsal started. This is where the music started formulating.
The glue that hooked us all up was our friend Alvarez. We could go over there on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening for 3 or 4 hours and jam, because his mother would go and play bingo.
Well, you on some Fred Sanford up in this motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to see the spot like this, man.
No, man, gosh. Look,
Fuck.
the fire department ripped the whole house.
Man, it looked like the whole place was on
ripped.
fire.
2-alarm fire. Came and kicked everything. Look, I have nothing. My clothes, everything is gone. He always used to jam down in this basement right here, right?
Yeah, this is where we used to do it at, right here, kid.
Yeah, this is the beginning. Daryl used to play his drums right here, bass, drums, right in here. You want to see your tape recorder?
Yeah.
This is the tape recorder when we used to record all the Bad Brains music on.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty. I've never seen that. All that like written, all that shit written on it. Yeah, I've done that for years. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was over 10 years, probably.
You must sign that with
What's up, kid? Come in here and tell them how we used to do. Back in the
store?
day.
You like the way the store
store
looks?
is beautiful.
Did you meet everybody?
I met all these nice guys. We're talking about punk rock days and.
This band is insane. This band is insane.
Nah, the band's not insane. The lead singer is insane.
One of the most incredible things about Bad Brains, which I'd never seen before, was the fact that from the first measure of the first song, HR's in the audience. HR's singing to people. HR's pulling people on stage. I mean, the audience became as much a part of the show as the band.
As far as what a front man should do and how a front man should be physically, as far as blowing your mind and making you want to buy the t-shirt, or like if that guy led a charge, you'd go invade Gaul. HR and Iggy Pop, to me, are the two most charismatic, I want to be that dude frontman I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was a very shy child. They took everything in their power to get me to come out on that stage. But then once I did, I didn't do my best to vocalize.
I can remember being just a little bit jealous because everybody was like, oh my God, you have to see this front man. He's the greatest thing you've ever seen. You know, he's the wildest guy in the world. He does backflips off the stage.
Don't care what you may say, we got that attitude. Don't care what you may do, we got that attitude. We got that feeling. We got that feeling.
I got into a conversation with my dad one day, and he said, you know what, I think I'm going to share something with you. Why don't you go read the book? And he gives me this book, and I see it, and it says, Think and Grow Rich. And it made sense, you know, to stay positive, not to worry. And it would show how people who refrain from living violently would get a good response.
Bad Brains were running this PMA thing, and their whole thing was that music should mean something, but it should also have a message to the audience, which pushes the audience as part of the thing. And that had an enormous effect on us. Have a positive mental attitude. Go out there and do what you have to do and make it work. And if you do it, it will work.
The punk music in England was informative, but it was more like, you know, fuck this, fuck that. We wanted to try to give an alternative and unify the people. And yes, we can make a change if we're unified, as opposed to just saying, you know, this is screwed up and that's screwed up, and that's just the way it is. I think that was the difference initially in our message. And, you know, just being positive as opposed to destructive.
Like everywhere else, like punk rock was like connected to nihilism, like to destruction. And actually, we heard PMA sort of saying like we're making something, we're building something.
Lights, cameras, action. We're just gonna burn out our batteries doing this shit.
Getting already. Camera. Right, yeah. Okay, that's enough then, man. Come on, man.
What's happening?
Yes. Buffy St. Marie. Buffy St. Marie.
County, he's like a hippie almost. He still has a sweet hippie type of approach to this.
Uncle Sam had collected from smallpox disease dying soldiers that day, and the tribes were wiped out and the history books censored.
Hi there, everybody. This is HR Human Rights Brains. We're here now in the beautiful city of Portland.
Been waiting to see him since I was this big. My first hardcore album.
Where's the joint? Weed in my bag. It cannot run perfectly smoothly. If it does, somebody will make sure that it isn't, because it's like it's not supposed to run perfectly smoothly.
How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, whatever it is, half my life.
By August of 1979, the band had recorded the demo session that became the Black Dots album. For us, it was just this cassette.
Yeah, I guess that was the first recording. To the guy's house. One of the bedrooms was where all the equipment was. I think Earl did the drums in the basement, put my amplifier in the bathroom, and Daryl's amplifier in the other bedroom. And you hear me say, "Can you hold it for a second?
Can you hold it for a second?
Because I was doing an overdub in the basement, so I had to yell upstairs, "Hold up, I'm not ready, I got a tune."
Red bone in the city.
HR did the vocals outside. He had some kind of shrubbery or something. That's why you hear the crickets, because he was singing by the shrubbery.
The record was never a record in those days. It was just a cassette. Had the Bad Brains pressed up 1,000 LP of that tape, that single album would have been a determinant record in what's known as American hardcore music and American independent music. And it wouldn't have taken until the new century for a documentary on that band to come out.
Now, you started out in D.C., and you were there for several years before you made the move to New York. And what made you move?
DC's for politicians and restaurant owners, really. We played enough there, you know. We played a lot in Washington. We had a hard time playing down there. We mostly played like basement parties and stuff like that.
They're actually bandits.
Yeah.
There was only 3 clubs at the time, and each club only knew each other. And we played at one club, and it's like, oh, you guys entice rats, and you make people jump up. In those days, it was pogoing instead of slamming, creepy crawling, and whatever. One calls the next one in, and it's like, oh, sorry guys, we can't play anymore.
So we said, all right, we'll go up to New York.
I remember seeing the Bad Brains, not having a clue what they were doing. I mean, there was jumping around, fast. So we're watching it, we were digging it, but we just had never seen anything like it. They were light years ahead of anybody playing on the local scene. They were skilled, they were original, they were monster musicians.
Anybody who would see them would obviously say, well, this band is better than any other band we've ever seen.
In those early shows, you know, to be like a club the size of this room with like 10 people in the audience.
Not even the size of this room.
It was like a couple of shows we started to realize how incredible they were.
We had to go play the Great CBGBs. I remember getting off the Holland Tunnel and coming up Canal Street and turning on the Bowery, and oh, there it is. He kept coming back and playing CBs, so we'd come once a month. He said, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a Friday night. So Friday night at CB's, it don't get no bigger than that.
They went over to England to play with the Dam. The Dam said, come on over, we'll take you on tour. They got the offer within months of their first couple shows in New York, you know, so that things were happening quick.
So we sold all our equipment except for our guitars, and got the money to get the tickets to go to London. Little did we know, there was a small amount of detail called working papers.
Captain Sensible standing there with a couple thousand, you know, pounds and saying, they don't have any money? Fine, here's money. They're coming on tour with us, here's the money. They have money, they can come in the country. As soon as you let them in the country, they have money. That's not an issue. They're not vagrants, they can come in here.
They got all these spray-painted suits and they're trying to pass themselves off as tourists.
The local constabulary at the time didn't like the way they looked.
And we were all sitting in some room in the airport waiting for the next flight out. They took our passports, caught the flight to England, caught the next flight back. Come to find out, our guitars had gotten stolen in JFK. They never even got on the plane. So we had literally nothing. We got back to New York. We actually had to panhandle to get the money to catch a train to get back.
Back in New York, they had no money, lived on corn chips and beer, and played on borrowed equipment. No fun. But bass player Darryl just became more determined than ever.
It got hard for me. You know, I didn't, you know, after all of that, you know, but I had to still be strong and say, well, this is what I'm all about. Because this is what I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do, no matter what.
We all lived on $5 a day for, I don't know, 6 months. And we had to use the old brain there because we hang out in Washington Square Park, and that was the days when they used to sell loose joints for $1. So we was like, we better get us $5 here and go buy us a bag and roll up some joints. Then we would take that, turn that into $15. Because we lived on the east side, we started selling the joints at Tompkins Square Park. Had to get $15 out of that $5 because you had to go buy the next bag, and then we had to have $5 to buy food.
It was cool going up to New York and struggling, you know. It became quite an adventure. It wasn't easy at all, but we set forth to do that, and that's what we did, you know. And then eventually went back to Washington to live for a little while.
I've got you under my skin.
I was a restaurant owner that had a lot of celebrity patrons.
Deep in the heart of me, so deep in my heart.
I had a waiter named Pierre who was a communist, self-confessed communist, that said that he was doing a film with he and his buddies. Would I be interested in helping finance it? And I watched it. It was this awful film. And I was, you know, getting a headache, but they had filmed the Bad Brains at Max's Kansas City. The hair on the back of my neck sort of went. Of course, they were so electrifying.
He invited us to dinner. You know, we had no money in those times. It's like, wow, here we are, punk rock, down in this five-star restaurant. And he said, hey, you know, I'd like to help you guys out.
Strangers in the night.
HR called me Mr. Sussman, polite, very short hair, no dreads. I was a, you know, Frank Sinatra kind of guy. But I dug what they were doing. I didn't know anything about being a manager of a band.
Something in your eyes was
They had basically nothing, no van. They had no equipment. So a friend of mine owned a music store.
He took us up to Chuck Levin's. All the salesmen came out, you know, the guitar guy, the drum guy. But HR, they wanted to get him a mic. He was a little disappointed, you know, at the time.
Yeah, because
he didn't get shit. Yeah, so he went in the back, way back in the back of Chuck Levin's and got this red hollow body, like B.B. King looking guitar.
I got them all new equipment, got them a brand new van. I obligated myself to $25,000, which I spent relatively quickly.
Maybe the second or third time we played, my equipment got stolen. Because we're a bunch of idiots who left the equipment in the van, sitting on Trump Street.
One night when it was really cold, Bad Brains played a show and flopped at Nick's house like they always did. And I felt sorry for the roadie guy who was trying to sleep in the van because it was probably like 10 degrees out. And they said, oh, okay, you know, come on and sleep at Nick's house, it's all right. And 4 or 5 hours later when the sun's up, everybody looks out Nick's window and there's this big empty parking space where the van used to be.
Brand new van, brand new equipment, sitting on Trump Street at Avenue B.
I had insurance, so I got them another van, and I got them new equipment.
God bless you. We find your peace out in the provable. God bless you for coming to the show tonight. God bless your days for coming in and you're going out. God bless your mama and your papa, your uncles and your aunts and your aunts. God bless your grannies and your grandmothers. God bless your mother and your father and your brothers and sisters. God bless your beautiful souls. And God bless your children's souls. And God bless your nice soul. The youth are getting restless. The youth are getting restless. The youth are getting restless. Yeah. A 16-year-old girl don't drop out of school. I said she's tired of being a fool, boy.
mother. And all of these boys grew up, like I said, you know, around me, came to my house, and we drove them to practice, and we used to let them practice in my garage. See, I remember when I used to drive y'all around in my station wagon. Oh, the green station wagon, yeah. To go play, somebody to go practice, load everything up, get in the car. Here I go, and I'm still driving people around. So, everybody's okay.
How are you?
Come on,
I'm still growing.
I gotta get on my kid. I'm fine.
I feel like I'm still growing when I see you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
1980 is when we saw Bob Marley.
We had known of Bob a little, but we didn't really know. And I remember walking into the arena and just hearing the bass. That's like 10,000 seat place. It's amazing. That was it.
And the whole influence of Rasta and Africanism and who we were as men started to want to take over, as opposed to being like lost youths from DC, kind of on some rock and roll shit. And once we came across Marley and Rasta and the whole vibe and the message that went with that, that's when things started to change seriously for us. But not so much our music, but the message of our music went from a PMA to a Rasta, which was the same thing. Rastas used to be like how they see like the Taliban and Muslims are nowadays terrorists. Like, I think that the New York Times even had an article out back in the early 80s about this new terrorist and this Rasta and how lethal the foot, like from kicking soccer, and lethal will kick your ass with a lethal foot up the ass or something, you know? So it wasn't years before you started seeing dreadlocks on a Gap ad or some shit like that. It used to be a real underground thing.
A friend of mine who was in the restaurant business owned this really groovy house in the backwoods of Virginia. So I got the Bad Brains to live there.
So we would just sit out there and just play music all the time, 24 hours a day, and it sits back in the woods and no other houses around. It's perfect, you know. We could just play. We literally played music all the time, loud, and never had any complaints because there were no neighbors.
It was a great experience for me. If it wasn't for that house in Drainville Road, I don't think I'd be sitting here in America today playing music, because I learned a lot about drum, bass, and guitar, and some keyboards from the original Dr. No himself. We had classes, we had a blackboard, and we would go through stuff, you know what I mean? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scales, and augmented and diminished, and sharps and flats, and all that type of stuff we did. And we cooked a lot of beans and rice, and smoked a lot of weed, and played from 6 in the evening till 6 in the morning.
And there was a haze of marijuana in the house at all times. The farmhouse was perfect. They could grow their marijuana, they could smoke their marijuana, they could play, they wouldn't bother anybody. The neighbors weren't appreciative of having 4 black punkers living on their land. And I never put that together until it was too late.
The old local cops there got wind of a bunch of black brothers back here, they're back in the woods over here. We were coming home from the music store. Pull up in the driveway, all excited, taking out the gear, you know. Going in the house, setting it up. All of a sudden, Babylon just come in on us, you know. Kick the door in. On the floor, blah, 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 blah. Just so happened that particular day, we had the new equipment. So they think that we got some kind of fencing thing going on, like, oh, we stole the equipment. And it's like, where's the guns? You know, Rasta gotta have guns and pounds of weed. They ain't finding no guns, they ain't finding all these pounds of weed and all that, and none of that bullshit, you know.
When it became obvious that it really was a black-white thing that they wanted to get rid of, then it all went away, nobody got charged, nobody went to jail.
That magic summer They went away, and they reappeared.
And I remember they came out and they were all wearing like button-up shirts, and they had nice pants on, and they had new equipment. Gary had a wood grain kind of natural guitar, and we're like, what's going on?
In come the Bad Brains, and all these new people with them. Here's Julian, very scary Rasta guy. Here's these Rasta women with them. Ian and myself and the rest of the normal gang addressed them as we always did. Hey, HR. Yes, Henry man. Excuse me? Oh, this Irie. Irie? Who are you?
They try to make I feel ashamed, but I love our giant.
Just like Henry and them can look at you and say, all of a sudden they came back and they was Jamaican. Someone in their family can say all of a sudden they came home from high school and they was Sid Vicious. Before, when he left, he was Jimmy Page. So yeah, it kept changing for me from when I was a teenager. Oh, Daryl, he's a white boy. Look at, he wear leather pants and, you know, how you think a dude in Southeast feel when he see me and I'm walking down the street in some leather pants and ripped up shirt? That nigga's a white boy, right? So now, when I go and the white boys see me and he say, oh, these black dudes is cool. They the Bad Brains. Then the Bad Brains will go off and see Bob Marley. Then they come back, yes, I am. They go, oh, man, shit. I don't know what happened to them dudes, man. They used to be punks, now they're like Rastas.
There's a vein of spirituality running through your music and your lyrics. And how important is Rastafarianism to you?
It's our life, so it is the utmost importance.
It turned a lot of people off, but I think it also gave some people, it empowered other people. HR started getting me to grow dreads and shit.
We had the UFF, the United Freedom Fighters, and it was this organization that HR started, and like we had meetings and we were gonna change the world and the planet and all this shit, and after like 3 or 4 spliffs, everybody was like, what were we talking about now?
Everyone started talking like Rastas all of a sudden. When we were stoned and sit on a stoop going, yes boss, crucial, yeah, man, mash it up, yeah.
But to me, I loved it. When they played dub, like it actually balanced out the whole show, because to just go and listen to most hardcore bands, after about like 7 songs, you're kind of like you're kind of like your ears get burned out. But the way that they were able to play like 3 hardcore songs and then like settle into like a dub track, kind of like soothe the audience just long enough until they'd hit them again with more hardcore.
That's one of the main things that separated the Bad Brains and made them all that much more kind of awe-inspiring, was that they actually had a genuine pacing to their show because they had this whole reggae and dub element.
When they pressed up their first single, it was pressed in New York, and they needed a car to go pick up the 8 boxes of the 7-inch. And I went, here's my keys.
For 99 cents, I got this flimsy little, Xerox thing, and I put this thing on. I thought it must be a 33 RPM single, and I'm going, got it on 45. There's something wrong. Stopped it, put it on 33. And then I was like, okay, this sounds a little bit more right. But then the vocal came in, it was totally wrong. And I probably played it conservatively 16 to 20 times that afternoon. I just couldn't believe it. It flew in the face of everything I'd ever learned about being a rock musician, and in a good way.
The thing about the Brains that's so phenomenal is that We were recorded in 1983 as being the fastest band on planet Earth. Shortly after that, we got on the Guinness Book of World Records.
It was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. It was faster, it was more raw, it was more powerful than anything I'd ever listened to before.
Those guys were such amazing musicians. Most Sussman wanted them to sell out and play pop music. That's why when the first single came out, it was Pay to Come and Stay Close to Me on the other side.
Stay close to me.
Most Sussman wanted to push them as a pop group. That's how talented they were. For people to think this is all they could have done, that's not the truth. They could have sold out and played pop music and sold millions of records. Their heart was in punk, and that's why they chose the punk route. Because if you look at that single, it's like there's the two paths they could have taken.
If they had taken it one more step, they could have been much more important than they are now. Unless, of course, they're important because they did the opposite. Maybe if they sold out, which everyone was accusing me of trying to do with the Bad Brains, maybe they wouldn't have become important. Band in D.C. had nothing to do with me. Band in D.C. had to do with the fact that club owners wouldn't let them play because of HR's 50 to 100 person guest list.
We relocated to New York and began promoting our own events.
And we were just gutted. We couldn't believe they were going to move to New York because it was just such a Washington band. Like, it was like, that was our world.
We would have stayed here, what would have happened?
Who knows?
Could have signed a Discord and sold 1 million records.
You never know.
Everyone knew there was something going on, but nobody knew what to do with it. And I had tried to do something with what was going on, but I was not successful.
To me, they embody like the best parts of music, like a philosophy, ideals, roots music, and a place to put your aggression.
Hardcore was kind of rising up out of the ashes of the old punk
movement that was sort of fizzling out.
The Bad Brains coming up from DC was just a focal point for all these kind of like-minded misfits. They talk the talk and they walk the walk. They were the most benevolent scene leaders I've ever seen. Their entire thing was, again, to be one with the audience, and then they immediately became one with all the bands they played with. We used to borrow their equipment all the time. Twice they handed us their instruments when their own gig was finished. I never heard of this before or since. They would do a gig, at the very end, HR and Dr. Nell would say like, hey, you guys, even worse. Come up. What was, you guys play now.
They were one of the biggest musical influences on me, period. Growing up around them, I had a very special connection to them, especially because I was like 9, 10 years old. I learned how to play bass from watching Daryl. You know, I developed my own style, but he was one of the key ingredients.
And then when I came back up on the subway from Avenue Square.
We played one of our first shows, I think it was about our like third show, and HR is all of a sudden like in the middle of the crowd, and HR starts slamming into all the kids and like moving, and all of a sudden like the room lit up, and the whole energy in the room, like he definitely set it off. It was just like, wow, like, whoa, HR's in the audience at our show. It was crazy. And then he said, you know, we got this gig coming up at Max's in a couple weeks if you guys want to open up for us.
I first saw the Bad Brains in 1981. I got a vibe coming off the stage that I had only felt when I'd seen Jimi Hendrix or the Rolling Stones. The band and the audience got into a highly refined state of mind, almost like a religious experience. I'd set up a rehearsal space. The address was 171 Avenue A between 10th and 11th Street, an old glass shop. 171 consisted of one long room. We set up the stage on one end, and back near the entrance we had an elevated sound booth so that we could do recordings. We used to charge $10 an hour for recording, you know, just the most economical recording you could find in town at that time.
It was like more like an off Broadway type theater. You know, something like maybe a world that Adam was more familiar with as a thespian.
You mean the Yiddish theater?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The funny thing about 171A too was it was a bunch of couches that they had dragged in off the street. So there was like 10 like real dirty, nasty couches around there. And I'm sure it was illegal. I'm sure they didn't have any kind of license to do it. Like it was Avenue A, and back then, like, you know, Avenue A was kind of
most
off
of
the map, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, most of what happened on Avenue A at that time was illegal.
The Bad Brains played the night of May 2nd, 1981, and I recorded it. We kind of fell in love with each other. You know, they appreciated the sound I got. At that time, no major label would touch that kind of music. And by the beginning of '82, Roar had issued the tape. Since they came from the Capitol, they chose a cover design that featured the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
I played like my first cassette. I probably just wore that thing out. That meant so much to me.
Yeah, that Roar cassette. I remember I had a Walkman, like the first Walkman, and I would just sit in school, just like sit in the hallway on the floor and just like listen to that like over and over and over again. You know, I think that record just captures the way that they sounded live. The amplifiers were all distorting, and the PA was distorting. Everything was kind of like combining together in a certain way. And I think that really got captured in the 4-track.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is the mighty defender of the truth, and he's up against, you know who, the one and only Doom. What are you gonna do that for? I'll dare you. I'm just a Doom, I'll get you. No, you won't. As you know, you've got to feed the people. But along with good music and good wine and good beer and good water and good Pepsi, one must have food. So we're going to feed the masses. Make sure that their stomachs have something in it, because when we start shredding, it's no holding us back.
On Monday, March 1st, 1982, the Bad Brains, with their associated roadies, loaded into a van that we had rented from a band called Joey Miserable and the Worms, and set off for California and a number of gigs on the West Coast.
It was called the Slave Ship, and we were just all in there with the equipment. It was 4, 5, 6, 7 of us.
All the people around the land, they wanna get a better man. But what they just don't see, it gotta stop.
We had to travel straight across country to our first gig in San Francisco. Every place we played, we had a huge response. We drove across New Mexico into Texas to Austin and ended up staying at the house of the Big Boys, I believe.
The singer and Big Boys thought HR was absolutely wonderful. And HR, that boy was beginning to, he read the Bible a lot.
The Big Boys had showed great kindness to the Bad Brains, putting them up in their house. One of the Big Boys had procured a bag of herb, saying, after you receive your pay for the gig, you can pay us back. And in fact, I stood beside Doc as he put the money in an envelope and left it on our host dresser in his room. I found out later that somebody had gone into the room and had taken that envelope of money and replaced it with a note saying something to the effect of "fire burn all faggots," you know. And you can draw your own conclusions as who could have done that.
We got the bad rap on that, and that was a racial rap. The story's been told that we came through like some renegade Rastas, like on some homophobic shit. If it's Led Zeppelin, man, these fucking guys are assholes, they rock. But Bad Brains comes to your house, burns your carpet with spliff tails or whatever, spills Eitel stew, and HR calls you a bati boy and takes your weed, then it's like a whole big... It's deeper
That's
somehow.
why I say it's complicated. I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
homophobia, that's just homophobia.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
But people still bitch at us about the homophobia.
I'm just saying that
still
just
today.
Right,
like,
I know, but
like you said, it's like a scab. It's real. That shit stuck with my shit. It turned all the beautiful things that you hear them saying about us being how HR would literally put his fucking coat down for you to walk over a puddle. He was that kind of guy.
It was a point in time where bands, like it was like when the Misfits went to San Francisco, they beat somebody up at the show, they were like vilified for it. Is it in an era where anybody, if you misstepped, you just got hell. Yeah. And the Bad Brains thing, it just, unfortunately, not only did you something like bad go down, there was just youthful indiscretion, let's say it's that. But nonetheless, the problem is you had amplifiers. You had people who just picked up on it and ran with it.
And you cat and rock that goes, fuck those faggots or something like that. They're not going to get what the fuck we got for going, boo, boo, Butty boy. They're not getting that. They're just getting, oh, you guys, you know. Well, for some reason with us, it's like a living legacy. I had to go on the internet and tell them, look, I love all people. We have learned to love all people. We were young, too. We grew. You know, no one's out to get anybody, you know. But then, granted, HR did get off into some weird shit after a while, you know.
HR is in Baltimore still. He's still in Baltimore. Waiting for a flight. He's got a flight at 8:30. I booked it last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about taking a car. So he's going to hire a limo. Kind of a distance. 3 days in a limo.
Come on. US Air, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
US Air.
What's he saying?
She went to the wrong airline as far as... They were saying, no, that flight left early today. Hey, HR, how are you? It's Anthony. So I'm in Buffalo, and Daryl's here, and Doc is here, and Earl is here, and everybody else is on their way. So I'm just checking in with you. Call me back when you get this, and just want to make sure everything's fine for the flight that you're getting on, which is in about an hour and a half, so you're probably on the way to the airport. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
How's he getting to the airport?
I'm not sure. He left early this morning for where? I don't know. So he's apparently got up this morning and left. Grant has no idea how he left, but he left probably in a car. So he's probably just doing that. I mean, I don't know. It's like I'm gonna eat the flights. That sucks.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. We're here live in Toronto, Canada with the Brains, and showtime will be momentarily. And thank you very much for your cooperation and your patience. I'm HR, aka PhD, Love I, Rastafari.
Rico Kasich said he had our raw cassette on his tour bus and would fire him up to go on stage. So he got a hold of us when we played in Boston. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was strange too because I didn't really like his band that much. And I was a punker kid, like I hated the Cars. You know, it was cool to hate the Cars if you're into punk.
You know, at that time I was kind of like, I was always looking for things like that. A lot of bands that came through Boston, I would try to get them to come into the studio and, you know, do tracks. You know, like Suicide and Romeo Void and whatever was far away from, like, kind of what I was doing.
He was a really nice guy to us and really brought us to his studio and recorded our album. And he was sort of like the rock star coming to bring us into the rock star world of, you know, give us good guitars and shit and take us to places, give us a per diem and all that.
Rick was just a sweetheart, you know, very supportive, and he gave me a guitar. That was our first time going into a real proper studio.
And we went in there for 3 days and recorded the whole album in 3 days.
Not to diss my man Rico Kasich because the Cars are great in their own right, but I remember feeling a little disappointed when they like had Rico Kasich producing a Bad Brains record, and I was thinking like, why are they having Rico Kasich produce a Bad Brains record? Like they just made the most incredible sounding thing at 171A. Like why would they want to go into this like fancy studio and make this other thing?
There weren't too many kids in the hardcore scene that weren't influenced by Rock for Life. You had to have that record. You had to know that record. If you didn't know that record, your other punk rock friends might be a little suspicious, you know, like. I know every drum lick off of that record, and I have since I was 14. I knew every single one of their songs front to back. And from listening to Earl. Earl didn't flail around like a lot of the spazzy fucking white punk rock drummers like me. Like, Earl was like Bernard Purdy or something, you know? He just had this thing. He just seemed like it was nothing. Like, whatever. I'm just killing him. Who gives a shit? I still use a lot of the tricks that I learned from Earl, still to this day. I listen to Nevermind, and there's little fills here and there that I just took from Earl. Listen to How Low Can a Punk Get from that Rap Music for Rap People compilation. And listen to the intro of Smells Like Teen Spirit. They're not exactly the same, but it's close. And that's where I learned how to do it. So they were a huge influence on the whole band.
London, England.
This is one of the most famous clubs in the world now. Where will be performing tonight? I mean, we're talking about a place where brothers and sisters came to see James Brown, and Pete Funk, Madonna.
Sights. Good to see y'all. Bad Brains tonight. That's about it for me. That's enough for me. Bad Brains, man. There's no one else that you can really hold up and say, yes, this is an example of the punk thing having an effect on some brothers. You know, people that weren't prepared to be defined by their color. Bad Brains are the Sex Pistols of America. I mean, what the Pistols did for the UK scene, Bad Brains undoubtedly did for the American scene. Ask the Chili Peppers, ask the Beastie Boys, ask the Black Flag, Ask Fugazi, man, and countless others. It's undeniable. I mean, a really incredible band and really individual.
The best is yet to come.
I haven't anything to smoke since yesterday. I guess I better get another key. I have no idea how to get a hold of the bus driver. You know how I get back to the hotel? Do you have anything written down? So the bus driver's not at the bus. I don't have the bus driver's number. I guess it's probably in my itinerary. I know, but he also locked, there's also a physical lock, key lock, that he actually set, because the door won't open.
Hi, boys and girls. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you so much for your patience and cooperation. We'll have the show starting as soon as possible here now in the Netherlands.
This guy's a joke, all right? This guy's a joke, okay? I'm telling you, I'm not you. You can't come to me doing that shit. Fuck that, man.
I'm not really focusing on whether someone wants to judge me as being an old man or played out or faded or that type of thing. What I want to do is focus on the music.
They throwing shit on the stage.
Well, I saw it, and it's just a routine now. It's so boring. He can't play last anymore. To another person, it's like, you my God, you bow bring the almighty God, and we love the brains and this and that. And you hear them from miles away, hours and hours away, talking like that. No way.
Got hooked up with this cat, Ron St. Germain, supposed to be like, work with Hendrix, very technical dude in the studio.
He really just wanted to capture the band as the band.
Ron had the idea of going to Longview. Great magical situation to come away from the city and go to Springfield, Massachusetts, in the middle of real cow country.
Doc and Daryl, and Earl for that matter, were so inspired. They were always shooting what I call shooting from the hip, you know. Not unlike Hendrix, who also played from the heart and from the hip. So we do 5 or 6 takes. I couldn't run HR through that because vocally it's such a demanding album that there would have been no voice whatsoever. And he tells me Sunday afternoon, he says, well, Ron, I kind of got to go in a couple of hours. And I said, what do you mean? He says, yeah, I got to go to D.C. I said, what for? He says, well, I got to go to jail.
Right before we went to record this, HR got busted in D.C. with a bunch of pot. He ended up getting some time, like 6 months or something like that. So we were kind of pinched.
We had enough time, we had 2 hours, so I basically just said, run down, give me 2 takes on each song. I finished the recording with HR, and then he had to go serve 3 or 4 months. And I had the one song which wasn't finished, Sacred Love.
We just didn't have the vocal on that particular song. And Ron was just like, I saw he was like brainstorming. He's like, what we gonna do? How we gonna do this? You know, he's like, well, you know, Johnny Cash did a record in jail.
It took almost 2 months to arrange for HR to get to payphone in the DC jail.
He'd gotten to be one of the guys who gets to sweep up, and he got to be near the payphone when nobody else was around.
Ron had him unscrew the mouthpiece and hold it up like a microphone and hold the headset part so he wouldn't get feedback.
Early on in the session, I can hear he's kind of messing around with something. And I'm saying, HR, what are you doing, man? He says, I'm getting high. The story is, he used to always carry his Bible with him. He used to always open his Bible and he'd clean his herb on the title page. So over the years, this title page is black with resin. He ripped that page out, rolled it up, and sparked it, so he's smoking the Bible.
And he did a couple, 2, 3 takes, and that was it. It was tremendous.
All the guys down one of the tiers could hear him singing. So it was pretty amazing. He's able to get away with it.
I'm in here, you're out there, we know I cry. No crying, no lying, I declare. Everybody going on about expensive. At the back of the man, and it overstand. Anyone else good in the old one? That's the line, I think about the deep about the good. When the back of the man, it is so dead to come in.
We're basically on the west side of New York. First punk show I've ever seen on a boat. Seeing one of the legends of American hardcore, the Bad Brains. Really looking forward to it. These guys are guys, man.
In the same old story, no facts or glory. I don't want to have
I didn't ever listen to punk rock music until I went to my dad's show, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then I got like really, really into it, and I was like, this is the best band ever.
It's like a whole experience like going out. Like, I explained to some of my friends, like, dude, you see the Bad Brains perform, and you're just like blown away.
So special. I get to, look and hear all the people like amazing around me, and I just have that little gem inside, like, oh, that's my dad. Proud feeling. It's good.
Gully is a bad disease, the bad drug, my son is a bully stuck. That's a rack thinking back into the fantasy, but I'm an angel. Listen on that view, I'll tell you two who's train at you. I'll bet the baby what's down at you.
Now I did talk with his friend, the other brethren. What's his name? Charlton Heston. Remember Charlton Heston? You know, the one who did the movie Ben-Hur. You know, in the Bible and those other movies. Well, anyway, his daughter assured me that Paris and the others, remember Paris Hilton? They're going to keep up the good work, okay? So I'll see you later, all right? All right, God bless you. Thanks for coming to the shed. Rastafari. What just happened?
This is awesome.
I honestly hope that HR consistently finds inner peace. You know, he's touched with that thing. He's touched with that extraordinary Genius is an overused word, but he is really one of a kind. I mean, he is of a kind like Thelonious Monk, even though people will holler and scream, but something so implacably original that he is that thing.
Say fire on Babylon and me say oh no, look at Sharon come. They wicked up and me say
HR wanted to start a new band called the Zion Train. This was a band that was going to do pure reggae, going to have dancing, chorus of girls, horn section. It might have worked.
There was the whole Zion Train phase. We'd go see the shows and appreciate what they're doing, but it was not what we particularly wanted to see.
We went to see these when they came out. We were all psyched to see them, and they just played a whole set of reggae. It was just like, hey, what do I smoke this joint of dust for? Nothing.
When HR came and said we was going to be called Zion Train, I wasn't really feeling that. And I was thinking, because I loved my Bad Brains and the unit that we had, and I wasn't really into it.
We're all brothers, you know. We all grew up, went to junior high school and high school together and all that. You know, it's a family, so, you know, you get tired of your brothers. So, you know, you got to take a little break, you know.
The band broke up soon after that. Human Rights, or HR's band, he did that immediately when he left. And the band got back together in 85, 86, and broke up again sometime in 87. HR needed a drummer. If Bad Brains wasn't going to happen, they're always going to go with HR and play drums there.
I was a fan of the band, so, and I wanted to be in the band, to be in my favorite band, but to be in the band with someone other than HR didn't seem right. But kids, you know, they were into it anyway.
The Brains is not one person. The Brains is the works of the father. You know, I said, oh, let's try out some other singers, because we got to do what we got to do, you know.
Chuck Mosley from Faith No More sang for maybe a year or something, you know. We did some short tours. We ended up getting this guy Taj, and they ended up calling it the Bad Brains and using Taj and playing a couple of those tunes, and we did some short tours with him singing. Quickness was recorded with when the band was kind of broken up. Taj was supposed to sing on it, and it just never came together.
And right at that point, it always would happen. I mean, HR would probably hear on the grapevine that we were recording a record. So he checked in, like, I hear that you're working on a new record. And Daryl brought him a cassette on the tracks that we'd recorded that had no vocals. And HR sat in this hotel room for 2 days. And after 2 days, he was like, okay, I'm ready. He'd written all the lyrics that became Quickness.
We got the band back together and they toured again, and I think he lasted maybe a month again before he decided to go off, and he didn't tour the band again. It's gotten to be a habit, so now he's quit the band 3 times. It's gotten to be a pattern with HR.
You've got to rise up, you wake up and rise.
This chick was at our audition and said, I know the dude that's supposed to sing for y'all.
Rise up, you wake up and rise.
I was about 21 at this time. I get a phone call, and it's Daryl. I'm like, you can't be serious. He said, yeah, this is Daryl Jennifer. What's going on, man? He said, well, I heard you sing, you know. I'd like you to come on up to Woodstock and jam with us.
Turns out he knew a lot of our songs first day. As soon as we hit off to play any of our covers, he knew them right away.
When we heard him, we were really excited. It was perfect. And in the beginning, there was so much excitement for the whole thing.
We went out on the road for like 3 years. And we spread Rastafari message all over the earth.
One more, come on. Wake up and ride.
Israel's so easy to work with, so easy to be with, and travel with, and everything about him was just magic that way.
He was not HR, but he did a credible job. But, you know, it's like, who can replace Mick Jagger? Who can replace John Lennon?
By March '94, I got a call from Yauk saying that we should get back together. He was in LA, saw HR. You know, he was being like a friend. Come on, man, you guys, what's your guys' problems? I'm saying HR is getting on my nerves. He's saying, oh, D, what the fuck's your problem? I said, yo, if you see HR, you want to do it? It's, a lot of things go down like that. It's cool. Tell him to call me. So next thing you know, my phone rings. He's like, oh, hi, Daryl, this is HR. Everything's smooth. I'm out here. I'm okay. I met this guy at a show that wanted to make a record with us. His name's Guy Al-Siri, and you should call him. Turns out it's Maverick, it's Madonna, and they want to sign us. They want to sign us fast. They feel like something, like they better get it popping quick.
Well, the deal was a great deal. It was so in the band's interest. I mean, they'd really come around on almost every single point.
And they went into motion like a president, like the White House or something. Shit was just like contracts, lawyers, everything just appeared like, you know what I mean? It was just like an operating table. We signed the deal and we got a little money and we got put up in Beverly Hills and we made the record.
One of my favorite records at that time was the debut Weezer album, which Rick Ocasek produced. And of course he produced my favorite Bad Brains album, which was Rock for Light. And I thought, you know, just let me call this guy and maybe see if he'll produce it.
HR never came to a rehearsal. I was taking him to his first rehearsal after they had already rehearsed for the week. And when we got to the rehearsal area, there was a graveyard across the street from it. He wouldn't even go near the rehearsal hall. I had to take him all the way back home. He wouldn't even set foot in it because it was across the street from the graveyard. He said, no, I don't want to rehearse, you know, by the dead. But when he came in the studio to do the stuff, he nailed it every time. He was doing like 7-part harmonies, you know, like right on top of each other. Perfect every time.
Because it's sweet. Like melody. Thank you, job. Thank you, job. Thank you, Spider Lord. Thank you, job.
When we gave them their advance for the album, I got a phone call from a car dealership. And the guy wanted to talk to me. He's with HR at a car dealership. So I pick up and I said, hi, and he goes, oh, we just want to verify that this guy really is a musician and he really is, has the money. Yeah, we just paid him in advance. He's got some money. He's on this record label. And he said, okay, cool, thank you. I go, whoa, wait. I go, out of curiosity, what's he buying? And he said, I think it was like a 1980 limo. A limousine. So I said, can you put him on the phone? And he puts HR on the phone. I go, HR, you're buying a 1980 limo? And he said, yeah. I said, really? It's beautiful. And I said, really? I said, who's going to drive you? And he said, Scotty. Scotty's the guy who works at my company who drove him to the car dealership. The guy who works for us, with us, was not even, just did me the favor to take him to the dealership. Now he thinks he's going to drive him in the limo everywhere.
HR's behavior started to become increasingly bizarre. And all the things that went down and the particulars involved in this particular advent of our careers is very entertaining. There's no way I could get into the different particulars, but it's some of the most entertaining particulars that you will ever hear about a rock band. And Bad Brains going to LA on Maverick Records.
I remember one day he walked in with a dead fish in a broth and cooked the fish in the Maverick kitchen and left it there after he cooked it and then just left.
When we were at Maverick, we actually We actually got him he got him one meeting with a doctor to the stars. But, he's not cooperative.
No one had ever warned me about anything. No one had ever warned me that HR had probably schizophrenia. I mean, I don't know that if it's medical or, I'm not sure, but to me no one had warned me that there's this other character there somewhere.
So listen up, 'cause you can't say nothing. You're showing down with the punch of your button, but I'm not I'm telling you, I keep it alive.
We were lucky enough that the Beastie Boys put Bad Brains on their tour. Opening night of the tour, I was there with a colleague and we were waiting for them to go on, and we were basically high-fiving each other. Like, how amazing is this? We're on the Beastie Boy tour. This is going to be, incredible. And we really felt blessed to be part of this. And 5 minutes of waiting turns into 10 minutes of waiting, turns into 30 minutes of waiting. And then we knew something was wrong. HR would not come off the bus. Well, you said that the authorities and the general didn't address him in the correct fashion and the order of the... I'm not even sure what he was talking about. As I was walking him off the bus, he basically started attacking people on the bus. He attacked his brother and Anthony.
I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. They just kind of take me up.
Did you pull your hair out?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It was really intense. He was like punching, but I couldn't really punch him because I didn't want to hurt him because I wanted him to go on stage. So I'm not gonna bloody his nose. He's got to go on stage.
Well, it was, it's hard to even describe because it happened so fast. Like, we were really excited, being huge Bad Brains fans, to have them on those shows. And then all of a sudden, next thing we hear is like, Bad Brains aren't going to make the next date. Oh, why not? HR had some problems.
Basically, said you can't come back to Toronto. He was expelled because they found some weed on him. That's what got him in most trouble, not even the fight. And I saw him on the plane, and he looked just happy-go-lucky.
And it was so funny, man, because people, they didn't know, was I losing my mind? I wasn't talking to them. Who was I talking to? The man in the mirror? But see, they crawl inside the walls and hide in the cracks. The snakes and spiders, and iguanas. And I hear them in there moving around and getting, information. And like I said, I'm grateful those days are over with. All right, everybody, what's up? This side. All right. Go crazy, right? Bust up, all right.
CBGB's was shutting down, and everybody in the band knew it was happening, and they knew that we really had to play we had to go and play shows at CB's. I mean, it was necessary. Bad Brains will fill the place so easily, and we've done that before many times, 3 nights in a row.
I was actually, for myself, a real honor to be asked to play there 3 nights.
This advent of our careers it's still like a little stressful, a little unpredictable. We had a helmet which kind of upset me, and I thought it was like, what the fuck is this guy on?
We had seen the helmet at rehearsal, so it's like, you want to wear it, that's cool. Just don't wear it the whole night. Because the wireless mic and the helmet, it was messing up the sound. It was feeding back. It was like, ooh. It was feeding back so loud we couldn't even hear the amps and stuff.
at CB's when he put the motorcycle helmet on and he had the fucking headset underneath and then the thing and he's singing from inside the fucking motorcycle helmet. I mean, we were fucking dying, man.
The band was still the band, you know, those are all my great friends since I'm a little boy, and then there's this guy on stage that's not who he used to be.
Sometimes it's scary. HR might be acting a certain way, like HR's got a lot of ways he can be.
There are times when what HR does seems irrational to everybody, but it has to do with something that's going on, some kind of dynamic that's going on within his psyche. And his psyche is very important to his creativity and to this band's amazing strength.
Yes, you can use the style well versatile. You got to be stylish and fine. Don't you ever worry about taking your turn. Remember what the people say. You live and learn and worship on.
I'm not the son of God. I'm not Lucifer. I'm not a demon. I'm not the devil. I don't hate you. Our objective, what we would like to do is entertain you. We're live here now on planet Earth.
Well, I think he was sabotaging shit a lot, and that's what a lot of people seem to think too. I mean, I seen him like almost laughing at the crowd, like, and if you don't want to do it, then don't do it, and don't charge the fans $20 to get in to come to your show. Stay the fuck home.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, do you want to hear some more music? That's good. Oh, I'm more now. And a sissy and a faggot, okay. Anything else you want to remind us about before we play the next song? No? Okay, thank you.
I felt like he was disrespecting the audience.
Chicago, I thought he was kind of slacking it or half-assing it or being a prick to the fan.
All right. It's very Aren't we having a divine
You don't want to do it? It's no good. Fuck the cameras, man. This is it. This is it. I can't believe it. All these years, I'm trying to get away from this shit. I gave it my all, man. But you're a saboteur, kid. I can't believe you're a sellout, too. You're a sellout ass nigga. I've been wanting to tell you this forever. You're a sellout, man. I'm telling you. Judas. I got a song for you called Black Judas. That's you. So good luck with your life, man. And don't be calling my house and shit talking about this and that and that, because I see you coming to sabotage shit. Play with your amateur ass niggas and leave the pros alone, all right? Because the pros don't give a fuck about you. The pros can hold that shit down. I don't care about your little runaway crackhead smiles and shit, man. You're a sellout. I'm telling you that. And I hope I never have to see your ass again. After the night, you're done. You don't have to make the people feel bad. You don't have to make the youth them feel bad. No more. Sellout, man. Fuck that. He's a sellout, bro. He's a sellout, man. Fucking Judas, man. Bye, Judas. Trying to sabotage much work we put in. The nigga can't even act like he don't want to play. Just want to sabotage shit.
That's why I told you.
I can see if you say, yo, you don't want to play, don't play. You come on stage like no pussy. People then spending money and want to see some energy and have a good time.
Try to fucking overcompensate by shaking people's hand and shit like, oh yeah, I'm into it, yeah.
Shit is no joke, man, when it comes to this shit, man. I take this shit serious. 30 years, my whole life. You know what I'm saying? My whole life. You're looking at a motherfucker 47 years old. I've been doing this shit since I was fucking 17, 18. I couldn't even sign a fucking contract to play in a fucking band. I want to put only me and none of us do this shit.
No.
Fuck that shit. We can make good music. We go get Israel and come back and blow shit up. All them motherfuckers be leaving here tripped the fuck out.
Leave for someone who needs it.
Camera on here.
Leave for someone who needs it, right?
Judas.
Sunfrost. There's several potting soil. There's a lot of different varieties. They range from $2.99 to $5.99. 4309. I used to always shop here because this is the place to be, as you can see. When did I start working here?
I'm guessing around 1990 or even 89. There's Gary and I right there.
Dos amigos.
Gary's in the absolute center of that picture next to me.
Right, I saw that.
Gary's been instrumental in bringing the forefront of the food consciousness because of his own knowledge and awareness.
Gary is such an important part of our life that he's the only person that we can trust with our business. And when we go away, he's the man. Since he's been gone back on tour, we haven't had a vacation because we don't have that trust with anyone but Gary.
No pun intended, but people that are in the know are beside themselves when they find out or figure out or learn that he's here and or who he is.
One thing about golf, it teaches you about a lot of things. It teaches you about yourself. Nope. Bad swing. Going in the pond. See how look where I hit it, almost out of bounds. A guy the other day, like I was at another golf course and his niece and them were there and they were like, oh, that's Daryl from the Bad Brains. And they didn't want to ask me, you know, they think out here on a golf course that you don't want to be bothered. It's no big deal, you know, this is kind of confusing. I'm confusing to begin with to be the dread out here. And then when they finally realize I'm on some rock shit, they just probably say, man, that Daryl Jennifer is all over the fucking place. So it looked like I missed this one behind the green. So what I'm gonna do is try to use my short game skills and see if I can chip it in down there. Me and Doc would try to like bring other people into the picture, but Bad Brains Chemistry is the original members. And the music that we made with other cats is good too. You know, it's not that that shit sucks, it's just that it's not Bad Brains. It should have been called other things.
Bad Brains is a group of dudes from DC, Maryland that were blessed with the notion to try to be different and be inventive with their music and actually went as far as to put positive message into the style of music. And also went on to cleave and understand other musics that was positive, like reggae, and also bring that to the same stage at the same time, the same night. And the Bad Brains is like what Bob Marley was being prophetic about in one of his songs. He said, the punky reggae party. It's a punky reggae party. And that's what the Bad Brains is.
Are you excited about this movie being made about you?
Oh yes, we're excited about all our developments. But as always, what we like to encourage people to remember is it's not what a person can do in violence, but it's what they can do in love. Next question, please, sir.
Moving on, then on, then on.